Ho, ho, ho. It's a special Christmas themed edition of the Kids Media Club podcast. I'm Andy Williams.
Ho, 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 I'm Jojo. Oh my God. Stop it, you guys. None of this. You too. Calm down, okay? Not Christmas yet. I am Emily Horgan, and we are here with a host chat in advance of the Christmas break hitting next week. And I'm chatting, as I always am at this time of year, about Netflix's love of Christmas movies. Because I think it's so pure and it's so lovely and it's very in the spirit. So there's like a ton of new Christmas movies that have come out this year. Champagne Problems, My Secret Santa, Jingle Bell Heist being just a few of them. And we always see a re-engagement with, and I know it's obvious, but we always see a re-engagement with the Christmas movies every time the season rolls around. So things like Klaus, which I know, Joe, was one of your favorites.
It's
5-minute animated movie from 2018, and we also expect to see That Christmas return. That was the one from last year into Netflix, kind of the Netflix echelons.
The animated Richard. The animated.
Correct. So yeah, it is a season of good cheer, and I need to get my Photoshop skills out because I have to believe that Ted Sarandos is just a big, massive Christmas fan. Yeah, because Netflix have been doing the Christmas thing for many, many years in a really profound and in-depth way. But it is a good strategy too, because like Christmas is a brand, essentially, right? Christmas is it's like it's a brand that nobody owns and everybody can leverage. So, it is kind of smart, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting how whether it was intentional by lovely Santa Sarandos or not, they do seem to be the.
Oh gosh, okay. Everyone's giddy.
They do seem to have staked a claim over Christmas in the last few years, don't they? Which is interesting. And I never really thought about any of the other streamers, but that's because, Netflix always kind of wraps its arms around me, driven by Klaus, as you know, every Christmas, and I don't really go anywhere else.
Have any of the other streamers kind of tried to grab that crown off of Netflix? Is there anyone else doing any new Christmas movies out there at the moment?
Yeah, bits and pieces, but man, you'd need to be spending like Netflix are rolling out. I think maybe it's like 5 new movies every year for Christmas. Some of them are sequels, that kind of thing. It's I just like some people will say it's naff, but it's not naff. It's super smart. Amazing. It's just like warm and cozy and fuzzy, and I think it gives a good opportunity for. Yeah, it gives a good opportunity for even star talent to do something different, right? Like I think, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. You don't always have to be doing the highbrow stuff. Actually, Christmas stuff that will tend to be, first of all, the residuals on it are great because it comes back every year. Second of all, like it gives you an opportunity to do something a bit warmer and family friendly. So yeah,
I'm thinking, was it Red One that The Rock did last year?
Yeah, that was on Amazon.
Yeah, okay, that wasn't Netflix,
and then,
that was Amazon.
I think the Jonas Brothers are doing a very Jonas Christmas movie for Disney Plus. Is that this year?
Is that your highlight?
Well, yes, that's my highlight. But going back to the Christmas movies in general, I think you're right. I think what's great about them is that they're a genre that the audience really understands, and so you can kind of play to those expectations. You're happy when they do. So there are no big surprises in Christmas movies.
I feel like this is certainly in the UK a Grinch-heavy Christmas, which is great because I do love the Grinch movie. But I remember last year Primark did a load of Grinch stuff, but this year you've got McDonald's with a Grinch Happy Meal. You've got Grinch featuring in one of the, I think Asda, the supermarket ad. So it feels like whoever looks after the licensing for the Grinch has had a great year.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Have you guys ever heard of the Late Late Toy Show?
No.
Oh my God, stop. Have I never brought this up
I have heard of that. That's something that's kind of in Ireland.
Yes, it is. You have.
So the Late Late Show is an Irish institution and has been going longer than the late shows in the US. It's a talk show every Friday night. Can cover everything, literally from the sublime to the ridiculous. It will cover hard-hitting political issues. It will cover, like it covered the inception of Boyzone, right? Like, so it does everything. And then at one stage, many decades ago,
Right.
one of the researchers suggested that the host Gayburn review toys for Christmas, that ended up being a major success and ended up being a repeat segment, and ended up basically taking over the Late Late Show every single Christmas, just one show every single Christmas. And the Late Late Show was on at
Amazing.
9:30 at night. So you've got like 4, 5, 6-year-old kids wanting to stay up to watch the whole thing, and it goes, till nearly till midnight. Very joyful. They tend to do a lot of great things with really deserving kids getting to meet their heroes, and kind of funny, like really like amazing reveals and stuff like that. But they had the Grinch this year, which I thought was very interesting. So the Grinch is having a major moment.
Yeah, definitely a Grinch Christmas.
Interesting.
It seems to be the one that is popped for me.
Absolutely. And I think we should, in the UK should definitely have their version of the Late Late toy review or whatever it's called in Ireland, because that sounds fabulous. I mean, I think the Entertainer and loads of toy stores would bite their arm off to have something like that.
It is the kind of thing, though, that like, how does it get past compliance? I guess because it's such a historical institution, it's just part of culture, right, for Ireland. Because if you pitch this into any broadcast, you pitch this to the BBC, they're going to be like, no, that's commercial placement for the entire 4 hour, or 3 hours. Yeah, but it's really sweet, it's really wholesome, and it's really heart in the right place. I was actually looking at a few other things as well. There are a number of these types of like, seasonal TV shows for kids that come in every single year. So something like the Macy's Parade in the US, which has been going for years and televised for many years. There's Sinterklaas in Holland, I can tell you that. There's From All of Us to All of You in Norway, which is a Disney segment that's played every single year. The same like legacy Disney show from, I don't want to say the 1950s, that is played in Scandinavia every single year. So there's loads of these kind of funny little Christmas foibles. I don't know. You guys have you have the King's Speech, I guess, but that's not really focused.
You're making
he
me
doesn't
think
do any toy
that
reviews though. Maybe he should do some toy reviews.
Yeah, it's missing.
Do you know what? It's making me think that a creator, and I'm sure there are creators that review toys, much like there are creators that review tech on YouTube. That could be a great appointment to view every year. The same thing for YouTube.
Yeah.
A 3-hour live with toys and get kids
and super wholesome, like super wholesome.
There you go. Well, we'll write that one down.
So can we see the late? Do they post the toy reviews on YouTube?
They post the highlights. I'll send you through a link. I'll send you a link to put in the episode notes, Andy, because a lot of it is just the kids just being hysterical and funny and fun. One of the big reveals this time around was Roy Keane came out to give hassle to these two kids. It is very Roy Keane type style. Yeah, it's very, very pure.
That feels like Christmas TV, how it used to be.
It is.
I think we miss that. I miss that.
That's great.
Okay, I'm going to interject. I'm going to interject a pre-prepared Christmas pun for you.
Oh, go for it.
I might interject with a few of these. Okay. What do you call an obnoxious reindeer?
Rude, Dolph. Yeah, it writes itself.
That's it.
Oh, what's next?
Oh my word! Right. So, do we want to look at 2026 now? Are we ripping the Band-Aid off of 2025? I don't know. I have to admit, I was contemplating writing up a newsletter that was titled "Survive Till 2025 Becomes Shit Bricks in 2026," but I didn't know if it was too French. You'll find out on Friday if I end up.
I like it.
End up following through on that one. Anyway, media industry collapse aside, let's do a few predictions that are hopeful and juicy and exciting. Let's not do any that are depressing and frightening.
Who's going first?
Okay.
Andy, got one.
So I think it's gonna be a similar story in terms of Disney and Pixar next year. So we've had Pixar's kind of movie offerings and Disney's movie offerings competing against each other, and I think the original Pixar movies have ended up having more of a mixed result. And I think next year we're going to have Hoppers, which is Pixar's original movie. A young animal lover uses tech to transfer her consciousness into a robotic beaver for adventures in an animal world. So kind of bizarre and off-kilter storyline, but I worry that it's kind of not really cutting through the noise. And I don't know whether it's going to do as well as they hoped. And in contrast to that, I think Toy Story 5 is on track to do very good business indeed. And then on the Disney side, they've got the live action Moana, which again, I think is kind of demonstrating the power of established IPs and the fact that you can kind of guarantee an audience is going to come out for that. My predictions for next year is that Toy Story 5, I think, will do very, very well. I think it's going to be the one or two biggest animated movies next year. And I think Hoppers is going to underperform. And I think the live action Moana will also do very well. So those are my predictions.
Yeah, I do. I'm hearing you on Hoppers, definitely. And it's hard to imagine that Toy Story 5 being anything other than, quite big, very big. I do wonder Lightyear, I don't know, Lightyear was a different type of film, but like whether anything's being kind of portrayed there on, the currency of Toy Story. But listen, I wouldn't be putting money on it doing badly. Let's put it that way. I just wonder if it's still got the potency that it had. Yeah.
I think Buzz Lightyear was a category error on Disney's part, though, because I think changing the voice and in some ways having a story that was about the kind of the fictional version of Buzz, I think was confusing for that audience. And I don't think Toy Story 5 is going to be having any surprises in that regard. So I think it's slightly different. I think Toy Story 5 is going to deliver what the audience expects and be rewarded handsomely for it.
It depends on what the budget is. I mean, that's the real measure, isn't it? Is box office against budget. And I wonder if it's softer, even though it might, people are going to go and see it. Will it be well, it did okay? And I do wonder, you get to that point where those sequels, they start doing just okay.
It's like, will it do something new is kind of my question.
Exactly.
And I would have thought, like, I know, like, you say in retrospect that it was an error, but like, it did feel like it was going to try and do something new, whether it achieved that. Obviously, the answer would be it didn't, but like reinventing the world was interesting. Was interesting to me because it ends up just kind of becoming wallpaper a little bit.
Yeah, well, the story for Toy Story 5 is that Woody, Buzz, and the gang are basically they're facing off against iPhones and tablets. So it's very much kind of pitching the story about kind of old toys versus new, which could be an interesting kind of storyline to explore, I think. We'll see.
Yeah.
Those
definitely that's a fresh angle. And then Moana live action. I mean, Moana's got this kind of franchise quality at Disney in a major way, right? Like it was Moana 2 was huge. It's over $1 billion last year. Inside Out 2 went to eclipse it from a box office point of view, but I feel like the ongoing value of Moana, it's an always on rather than a kind of point in time, if you know what I mean. Whereas Inside Out is less so. So long as the live action adaptation is of high quality enough, I think that's, that should do the job. I would wonder whether it would have had more oomph if it had been held back a few years from the sequel. Obviously,
it was supposed to be a series, wasn't it?
The sequel, I think the sequel was supposed to be
the
a
animation.
I don't know. They were all supposed to be a few things, basically.
I think the animation felt very much like it had a very episodic kind of series quality to the sequel. You kind of felt that you could almost see that it had the rhythm of. You could almost imagine that this might have been the point at which the episode would have ended before it started again on the animated sequel.
Yeah. And then there's one outside one, Andy. So Hexed coming from Walt Disney Animation Studios. It It follows an awkward teenage boy and his type A mom that discover what makes him unusual might just be magical powers that will turn their lives and a secret world of magic upside down. So that's coming out November 2026. And I kind of feel like there hasn't been magic done particularly well for this audience in a while. I think like Spellbound didn't really hit the mark.
Yeah.
When the kind of magic and mystical is done well, you can have something like a Coco, which, was a really quite a very strong success from
Yeah.
the 2010s. So I don't know.
And is this boy skewed, do we think? Or family?
Definitely family, I would say, but obviously inclusive of the boy audience for sure, with the boy lead. And that timing hitting in November, right? Like it's going to be in for the Christmas, in for the holidays, that kind of thing. I mean, which sat in that slot a few years ago, which again I don't feel like managed to deliver on the magic, but I do think there's a bit of a gap there. There's probably a bit of an appetite if that comes in. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the flip side,
I think that's a good chat. Hex as a title, I feel like there's maybe a danger of it being a bit like Spellbound. It's slightly generic as a title, but if the animation is good enough, I was good enough, it can get beyond that.
I was going to say that about Hoppers, not because Hoppers doesn't give me a picture of something hopping, but this kind of one word Disney Pixar movies. I'm beginning to wonder if they are getting just a little. They're not working for them anymore.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Okay, so here's a new one. Here's a new one. How about the Super Mario Galaxy movie?
Yes, I like that. More words.
More words, exciting words, and a character. Yep.
Nice.
So Illumination have got the Super Mario Galaxy movie. That's how we're all going to say it going forward. And Minions 3 hitting in April and July 2026. So, I mean, that could be a humongous coon for them. It could be as much of, it's definitely going to, I think they'd be disappointed if it wasn't 2 billion at box office. Could it be 3? The Super Mario movie did really very well. It was kind of
I think that Super Mario movie will be huge.
Yeah, exactly. And Minions, right? Minions who are allowed to have a one-word title.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you could very easily have that as the number 1 or number 3 movie of the year.
I'm favouring Super Mario Galaxy movie over the others, even Toy Story. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
If I was having to rank them, I think edge Super Mario.
Yeah, I think it's got a good shot. There's a lot of sequels next year. What is it? There's Super Mario, there's Toy Story, there's Minions that you just mentioned. I think there's going to be another Shrek movie coming out.
Shrek is 2027. How to Train Your Dragon live action.
Really?
2 is 2027. Yeah.
I say 6. Paw Patrol. There's a new Paw Patrol movie coming out.
2027. Yeah.
Is that 27?
That's right.
Right.
I think so. Yeah.
So
it could actually it could be 2026.
Yeah, I think that Paw Patrol, the Dino movie, which is a brilliant kind of. What more could we have to add to this? Let's have it as dinosaurs as well as dogs. Makes a brilliant combination. Yeah, I've had that down as the summer of 26. But,
yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. Yeah. We live in a sequel world, Andy.
We do.
Okay. What about other predictions?
I'm going to throw one out there that is not movie or studio related. I think we're about ready for a new breakthrough kind of Miss Rachel, Gecko's Garage, Coco Melon type preschool IP that comes from YouTube. I don't have any that I'm going to pull out and say I predict this one is going to explode. But I think Such has the success of preschool now become embedded, and also the quality of Miss Rachel has reassured a lot of people. The fact that Miss Rachel did the deal with Netflix, I think, will have meant that in this past 12 months, more of those preschool creators will have felt able to go and apply their trade on YouTube. And so I expect another one to pop. I expect the rate of poppage, if you like, to increase now, given that commissions for preschool content elsewhere they remain soft. So that would be my kind of tip. We'll get a new preschool kids IP, whether it's live action like Miss Rachel or whether it is a new kind of Gecko's Garage or Blippi-esque one. But I think it feels primed for it. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see
my
that.
hope and my prediction would be that those types of deals on streaming for preschool creators I really hope they start getting a lot more lucrative, right? Like I think somebody who owns an audience like that on YouTube who's speaking to a streamer needs to really hold their nerve and hold their value, because
Yes, agree.
I think that is where the juice is for them. There's a couple of things we're looking at as regards, and this doesn't just apply to kids, it applies more broadly as to whether, premium creator formats really work, right? Obviously Mr. Beast has been on Amazon.
Yeah.
There's a few different iterations, Coco Melon Lane even hitting Netflix, right? There's different ways where they've happened, and some have been more successful than others. I don't think any have been like runaway, oh my God, nosebleed success, 100% slam dunk, slay the house boots, stay in Houston, I'm deceased. But, I think with kids creators, there is that possibility. But I think that licensing model of licensing your content to streamers needs to be really looked at in terms of holding value, because it can be so, you've made the content already, right? Like it's just a repurposing of content. So it feels like, well, if I can get it's old rope. So if I can get even a $5 for it, like it's a $5. Whereas I think the opposite approach is important to go, right, actually, no, I don't want a $5 for it. I want 5,000. I want 5, I really want to hold the value on it, because basically it's renting the audience that I've built.
Yeah. I feel like those support structures are beginning to aggregate around creators now.
Yeah.
Having spoken to a few people at the Roblox event a few weeks ago, I spoke to somebody who is a business affairs consultant, but actually has set something up to help Roblox developers get their affairs in order to make sure they're not being ripped off and they're not signing agreements that materially impact their businesses. And I think those structures, I can see them popping up. I can see people talking about them on LinkedIn, almost that back office support for creators. And I think that will help, to your point, Emily. It will help them not be taken advantage of, whether it's with agreements or exclusivity deals, but it will also help push the value of what they have. Because we've spoken about it before. They're doing all the hard work. They're making all the mistakes. They're growing the audience. And only when they've perfected it do the streamers come in and go, hey, let's talk. And it feels a little bit, an equitable.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll be exciting to see somebody new come up. I will say my only concern about that is, we're 5 years into the COPA ban on YouTube now. I feel like there has been, that kind of rot in the middle tier where, a creator who would have been able to make enough money to bet the farm, 10 years ago hasn't been able to do that because, the money on YouTube just isn't lucrative enough. It isn't enough career overheads, right? If you're an individual. And, that moment of like that we've read about with Miss Rachel or with the team behind Coco Melon or even with Gecko's Garage where, Christian went, okay, let's go all in on this. It's much harder to build to that.
Yeah.
Which kind of excludes people. But listen, I hope it happens, and I just hope that, the deal structures come in to be more sensible to service the value that they're delivering.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was going to say as well, and it's kind of related, but it's just come to mind because this was a prediction actually made by Reed Dusher, who is CEO of Night Media, who obviously manage a lot of creators. But he was predicting, and I think it goes hand in hand with more of YouTube being consumed on TV or via the TV screen, is a shift back towards slower edits, because quick edits and that quick content, Mr. Beast crashing the train into the ravine and it being quite a clip, were very mobile friendly. But I don't know if you've seen any Outdoor Boys, but Outdoor Boys on YouTube, it's pretty slow content. And actually, it feels nice that actually we might have taken the foot off the gas a little bit and we're getting much more longer form content, but it's not being edited in quite that kind of crazy full on way. So yeah, that's kind of an aside, but it might play into kids creator, slower paced. We've spoken about, we worry about the pace of content, particularly in shorts for kids. So maybe they'll combine and we'll see a good quality creator that creates much more paced content really pop.
Kids did it first.
I wonder.
I've seen that come through in some of the kids' content already where, intentionally slower creation. You could look at Miss Rachel and say that, right? Like she doesn't use shorts in her content strategy, right? Like that kind of, and channels building that have just more of a, like less of a dopamine vibe about them and more of like a calm and steady. And you can see that being obviously a major interest to parents as well. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, interjection.
Cool. Any more?
Before I go for a terrible pun.
Oh gosh.
Okay, I'm going to throw another one in. Come on, Andy, I'm teeing you up here. What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
Snowman with a vampire.
The listeners are shouting.
I've no idea. What is it?
It's frostbite.
Of course.
Frostbite. Oh, these are straight out of cheap Christmas crackers. Okay. Any other predictions?
I think that's where my head's at right now, I have to say. It's been a busy year, and like I think my head is slightly blown off by the obviously the Netflix buying Warner Brothers thing. That will I think go through.
That will rumble on, no doubt.
That will rumble on.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. There will be approximately 15 billion think pieces about it in the next 12 months. That's a prediction for me.
What do you think about the potential, the world watching Australia's social media ban, which has, I can see points on both sides. It's one of those things they've taken the steps. Searches for VPNs went through the roof in the 24 hours afterwards. That would, not entirely unexpected. But also then in the week or so since it happened, people saying that they're hearing kids going in Australia, like going back outside and meeting up with their friends again, and getting over it actually quite quickly. Do we think, particularly as we've submitted our own response to consultation around kids' media provision and all of this is all inextricably linked? What do you think? Do we think we'll see more of those next year, or do we think we'll see countries moving towards that? I
have to say yes. I think once Australia proves that the ground doesn't bottom out when you do this, it's like honestly with anything. It's like with smoking ban. It's like with levies on plastic bags. It's even like lockdown, right? Like, we think back to COVID and it's like, you're doing what? And then suddenly the world doesn't end and people do the thing that is right and needs to be done. And yes, there's it's a ban, like the people are always going to be finding ways around it. People aren't going to be doing what, it's never going to snuff the problem out completely, but it simplifies the conversation for parents, right? To be like, well, you can't be on it. Sorry, it's the government. It's not me. It becomes less of a individualistic family conversation. So yeah, I think we probably will see that rolling out, which will have an impact on, it's gonna impact social platforms. Ultimately, it's going to be a good thing for teens, particularly where, the challenges of social media can have a really profound impact on kids we know. So yeah, I'm optimistically viewing it, and it's tough. It's tough medicine. What is that? But sometimes you take the medicine and forgets it was ever a thing.
But what does that mean? Because we were talking earlier about Miss Rachel. So what would that mean for individual kids content creators? Because ultimately it would mean that audience didn't exist on those platforms.
Well, is YouTube part of the Australia ban in the end? I know there was a discussion about it being in and out.
Yes, I think it is, except YouTube Kids.
So YouTube Kids becomes a much more integral piece of it. The economics of YouTube Kids become much more important, which I think the economics of YouTube Kids in terms of ad revenue can be really challenging, even they're far more challenging than YouTube proper.
Yeah.
Creators make bigger deals with streamers and insist on getting their value, which is kind of another convenient prediction, right? But I mean, YouTube still sit on this fence of, well, under 13s aren't allowed on our platform anyway. So that is the way they continue to get around it, I guess.
I do. You look at that, and I'm putting myself in the shoes of a parent, and I mean, it doesn't apply to me anymore because mine are older, but it would then really throw into relief the lack of investment in quality kids programming from my broadcasters, my public service broadcaster or my national broadcaster. And I might just be tempted to start saying, okay, well, you banned kids from being on these social media channels, and we're behind them, we support that. But what else are you doing to help support their media consumption, their quality media consumption? Or, stop closing libraries and outdoor spaces. You can't divorce them, really, when you think about childhood. I wonder if that's something that those that are observing this might actually consider, that there's got to be action elsewhere. If you're going to remove social media from teenagers, what do you do to ensure that the vacuum isn't filled by something that's not
It's
good
worse.
for them?
Discord.
Yeah, that's definitely included. I don't think Roblox is, though, interestingly.
Oh,
Really?
I think Roblox is exempt.
it's a gaming platform, not a social platform.
I think so, yeah.
So it sounds like there's
that's
some
super
grey area
interesting.
in terms of what people would consider social or not.
Social media. Yes, definitely. But will be interesting to see what comes out of it.
One to follow up on in 2026.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're nearly at the end. I've got one more for you. What do snowmen eat for breakfast? Come on, think of his breakfast cereals.
No. Oh, okay.
Oh, Frosties. Frosties?
Frosty.
Did you hear my husband shout that from the other room?
There you go.
The wheels have come off the Kids Media Club podcast.
Alrighty, well, I guess all it remains for us to do is thank everybody for listening in 2025. My goodness. Another year notched up in the Kids Media Club podcast clubhouse.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Kids Media Club podcast. Have a wonderful festive period. Happy holidays and all that. And a wonderful new year. And we will see you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in 2026.